welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern at the request of Patreon subscriber Desmus, who had me brew Knights for his brother Tyler. What's up, Tyler? Yeah, this is Knights. Basically, Desmus came to me and was like, I like playing Knights. I have this old list, and I basically just want a deck that will be fun at FNM. And the list that was sent to me was pretty much just a bunch of 1, 2, 3, and 4 mana Knights that say whenever you cast a Knight, or Knights get this, or various things of that nature, like a very basic Kindred typal creatures and lords kind of deck. But I thought we could do something a little cooler. Shout out to my dudes Aaron and Dylan. At breakfast this morning, I mentioned I had to go home and record Modern Knights, and Aaron immediately was like, yeah, Haakon is awesome, without any prompting. And I was like, yeah, Haakon is awesome. And then Dylan was immediately like, and we have Faithless Looting to go with it now. So this is inspired by this conversation at breakfast. Haakon, Stromgald Scourge, 3 mana 3/3, Zombie Knight. You could cast it from the graveyard, but not from anywhere else. As long as it's on the battlefield, you could cast Knights from your graveyard, and when Haakon dies, you lose 2 life. Haakon is insanely powerful. Obviously, just having access to your graveyard as a second hand with no restrictions, there's no like, and it has a finality counter, or if a card would go into your graveyard, exile. Like, there's nothing here except Haakon is kind of hard to get into play in the first place. But once it's there, you're fully operating with 2 grips of cards. And fortunately, we have Faithless Looting that can now reliably move cards from your hand to the graveyard. Faithless Looting is also busto if you have Haakon in play already, because discarding 2 Knights, it's like this was 1 red, draw 2 cards, because you still have access to those Knights in your graveyard. Other synergy with Haakon is Inti, also a Knight, of course. When you attack, you could discard a card. If you do, put a +1 counter on target attacking creature Gates Trample. Discard that Haakon, or discard a Knight that you could cast with the Haakon you already have. Awesome. Olivia Mobilized for War, same thing. Whenever another creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1 counter on it and it gains haste and becomes a vampire. Once again, discard the Haakon or discard a Knight that you cast with Haakon. A little extra payoffs for the discard stuff is Unearth, because sometimes you just won't have a Haakon. And discarding cards, if you can't use them, is a bad deal. So I've got 9 ways to discard cards and 6 ways to reuse those discarded cards. And then we have a pretty reasonable Knights deck around there. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push are the kind of normal interaction spells. Nameless Inversion is a weird, kind of bad interaction spell, but it is a shapeshifter with Changeling, which means it's a Knight. And if you have Haakon in play, you can Nameless Inversion everything that comes into play as long as you have 2 mana over and over again. In a 6 mana endgame situation, you could kill Murktide Regent with this. Like, this is not outrageous to get going. Knight of the Ebon Legion is the best 1-drop Knight we have. I did a deep dive. Dauntless Bodyguard was somehow the next best 1-drop Knight we had. I'm just trying to fill the curve with this one, but I'm actually happy to play this one. White Orchid Phantom is a Knight, also interacts well versus Tron, Amulet, all the lands-based strategies in the format. Werefox Bodyguard and Murderous Rider are 2 different takes on removal attached to a Knight. And Knight Exemplar for a little bit of that classic Lords and creature type deck building. Other Knights get +1/+1 and indestructible. Very powerful. Should end the game quickly once this thing's down. One thing I really wanted to include in this deck, but it turns out the Modern card pool doesn't support it, is I wanted Corpse Knight, which is a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever a creature enters, your opponent loses a life. And I figured with Haakon and any 1-drop Knight, something like Phyrexian Altar, where you could sack that Knight, then replay it for the mana you spent, is an infinite kill with Corpse Knight. However, it turns out Phyrexian Altar is not in Modern, and neither is anything like it. There was a way to make it work. Changeling Outcast is a 1 mana Changeling, which means it's both a Knight and importantly, a Saproling for Utopia Mycon, which is a Thallid from Time Spiral block that you could sack a Saproling to make a mana of any color. Could have technically worked that all together if I'm willing to put Utopia Mycon in my deck, but I figured that was a different deck. Maybe that's something we could do in the future and just find a different way to go off with Haakon. But I felt like trying to include that is losing the sauce of the Knights deck and trying to build a Haakon combo deck, which is not really the goal here. But what is the goal is Mardu Knights with a powerful value engine in there. Let's get into it. 3-for-1 Trading is having a New Year sale that starts on Wednesday, January 8th. Their online store has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and old school players. Go to shop.3for1trading.com or use the QR code to sign up on their site and be the first to know when their promotion starts and new deals go online. I'm on the play in round 1 with a pretty solid hand. I'm going to keep. I could fetch Raucous Theater with this Bloodstained Mire, which gives me all my colors, and I can play Inti, which could discard Haakon. A plan is forming, and I have Haakon Inversion ready to go. Obviously, Modern is insanely powerful, interaction's really good, combos are really strong. This deck might just not hang at all, just the idea of trying to put creatures into play and attack for 20 over a course of several turns might just be antiquated, but I'm going to have fun trying. Raucous Theater. I will keep the Blood Crypt. Land number 3 is going to be important in my life here. And Inti, Essential of the Sun. Fighter of the Nightman. If they kill my Inti right now, and I don't get a single attack and a single discard out of it, that will be a bummer. I can unearth it and try again, but Haakon actually is just useless in hand. I'll be looking for a Faithless Looting if this thing dies. There it goes. Opponent seems to be on some sort of Gruul deck. Traverse the Ulvenwald. This is going to be for a basic. Knight of the Ebon Legion. All right. I could play Knight of Ebon Legion and pass, or I could unearth Inti and play Knight. I will unearth. The reason not to unearth is Inti only cares if you attack. It doesn't have to itself attack, which means if I just have a creature in play to start my turn and then unearth, attack with that, it gives me a turn without removal in play, or removal possible, to dump the Haakon. Obviously, I think just spending my mana is better because that's where I landed. Right, opponent put a Shifting Woodland in their hand from this. They are rumbling hard here through the breach. All right, we might just die next turn. Nice Nameless Inversion deck. That they can't take this. They have to take the Sprawl or the Foothills. They took the Foothills. Okay. I'll land. I'm going to attack. I'm going to discard Haakon. Flipped a Bodyguard. That's cool. Okay, I'm going to play this Bodyguard and choose Inti. And then I'm going to cast Haakon from the graveyard. And I might just die to an Emrakul right now. But I'm in here. I'm gaming. We did it. They are delirious, but there's nothing worth copying for Shifting Woodland right now. Traverse does get anything here. Delirium. It'll be tough to get 5 mana from this spot, though. Cityscape Leveler in the grip. Or they could Faithless Loot it away and then shift it next turn. What are we doing here? What's the plan? FOMO. Okay. That does it too. Dump the Leveler. Now 6 card types in the graveyard all of a sudden. But guess who's got a Nameless Inversion? Do I want to Thoughtseize this opponent? What does my turn look like? I could just attack first. And I would discard Nameless Inversion because I could play from the graveyard. We're in the freezy zone here. Attack. I am going to discard Nameless Inversion. I'm going to put the counter on Inti. So it beats FOMO in combat. Flipped Olivia. I don't think I'll be casting her this turn. Okay, we got a chump block. And now I can Thoughtseize Nameless Inversion. Or Thoughtseize Hold Up Murderous Rider, which can kill Cityscape Leveler. Which might be necessary. I will start with the Thoughtseize. What are you cooking with over there? I hope I don't accidentally feed you a Emrakul, just 2 fetch lands. FOMO does get a bonus attack. This can kill something when it attacks. All right, I'm going to pass. I think what happens here is I take 2 from Fear of Missing Out, and I win the game. Oh my goodness, what a powerful combo. I'm going to end this swiftly before it can attack me. And they look pretty dead here. Oh yeah, Knight's undefeated. Okay, Ghost Vacuum looks super relevant here. Thraben Charm. They were using their graveyard quite a bit. Wear Tear would kill Fear of Missing Out. I don't think I'm really that interested in that. Yeah, I think it's just Ghost Vacuum and Thraben Charm, and then I am basically just going to die if they ever cast Through the Breach. Oh, this also kills Cityscape Leveler, which seemed to be the biggest payoff. Okay, killing FOMO and Leveler both sound good. I think Olivia, I could shave one of those. She's just sort of top-end stuff in a matchup that's probably about racing. I like Thoughtseize, Unearth, Looting, Push, Bodyguard's mid, White Orchid Phantom's mid. Rider and Werefox Bodyguard are both flash answers to a Cityscape Leveler. I might just trim on the 3s and get a little lower on the curve here. Stay Haakoning. Wear Tear also probably answers Graveyard Hate that they boarded in, so that might just want to be part of the package at all times. Like just board in Wear Tear in all matchups. Definitely keeping this. I can answer a FOMO and a Cityscape Leveler. You can play Bodyguard without a creature to protect. It's just worse. Is this a Blood Moon deck? Do I care if it is? I could just wear the Utopia Sprawl. Does fetching Basic Swamp get me out of Blood Moon? That's annoying. Okay, I'll play Raucous Theater and accept that Blood Moon's probably going to be bad for me. I milled away Marsh Flats, which could fetch basic planes, but if Blood Moon is the game plan, it's happening before I get to fetch anyway. Milled over another Through the Breach. They can choose one of these. They took the Heath, played the Heath, Stomping Ground, Faithless Looting. Their deck is sweet. It's passing turn 2 with 9 cards in the graveyard. Ulamog and Godfarer's Gift. Okay. Yikes. Well, I wish I could play Inti here, but I'm pretty sure I have to just pass with Wear Tear up. Because if they make a Godfarer's Gift, I gotta destroy it before they move into combat. Let's see if they go for that or if they just copy Ulamog. No, copying Ulamog doesn't do anything here. Okay. GPG. Yeah, you know me. Fetch. I already have a Godless Shrine in my hand. I'll get a Sacred Foundry. Destroy target artifact is where? Zoop. Okay. We faded for a little while. I'm still worried though. Traverse can get anything. 6 card types. Super Delirious. And they could just do it again next turn. Tilt. Okay. I need to draw one of my Graveyard Hate cards immediately. That's not that. Okay, Ulamog. Ward, sack 2 permanents. I can Werefox Bodyguard it, lose 2 creatures, or lose 2 lands. Copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 zombie. It gains haste. Okay, so this isn't a 10/10, and they don't get the cast trigger. Has Annihilator X. Greatest mana value among cards in exile. That's currently 0. Okay. Annihilator is equal to the +1 counter. So Godfarer Gift for Ulamog doesn't actually do that much. I'm going to spend a turn deploying creatures and hope that they spend a turn trying to copy Ulamog directly. Okay, you've got a Godfarer's Gift until end of turn. Oh, the Ulamog triggers off itself. That's nasty. All right, never mind. I just did not understand how that worked. Okay. I thought I did the math, but I didn't. Okay. Cool. All right. My sideboard was correct. My understanding of the rules was not. Sun Cleanser will not stop me from getting annihilated by an Ulamog. No way to flash this in and take the counters off the Ulamog. Our Graveyard Hate's in already. Damping Sphere does slow down some of the stuff they do. I don't think that's how I'm going to play this game, though. Yeah, all right, this is my plan. Just going to try to line up Wear Tear and Graveyard Hate correctly. Thoughtseize is good, too. I will keep this. I can Thoughtseize into Inti, or I can Knight of the Ebon Legion and get my attacks going and Thoughtseize them later. I think I want to get the damage going. Knight of the Ebon Legion, get in. On the play, just going to try to get aggressive here. Stomping Ground, Utopia Sprawl. Sacred Foundry, Inti, dump the Haakon, setting up next turn to be my disruption turn when I have a bunch of damage in play already. Flipped Faithless Looting, can't play it. Pass the turn. Fear of missing out? I'm ready. Dumped Leveler. Okay, drawing the additional untapped black source here is great. I'm going to attack. I am going to discard. I'm going to discard the Raucous Theater. And I'm going to target Knight of the Ebon Legion because my plan is to Fatal Push anyway, and I don't want to get blown out here by Unholy Heat. Sick, found a land. Push the FOMO before blocks. Oh no, do we have Veil of Summer in the deck? That would blow up my entire turn. Fudge. Alright, mistakes were made. Now I can't Thoughtseize them either, and Inti's dead. You play around one thing you've seen and you get blown out by a thing you haven't seen. Fair enough. Okay. Hope I'm not dead right now. They do have Delirium. 3 cards, 4 types. Good deck building. Okay, they can shift into Leveler next turn. Or no, they can do it now. Oh, they messed up. Or no, it wouldn't have haste. Yeah, okay, no, they didn't mess up. It just doesn't have haste yet. They can attack me for a bunch, though. There's another Surveillant in the deck. I would like access to it. Shadowy Backstreet. Faithless Looting is a bunch more looks. I guess I will keep that. Loot. Oh, yeah. Solved every problem my life ever had. Shock and Sacred Foundry. And attack. Okay. Moment of truth. If they just go for it, they die. Because I can wear and tear. And I have lethal on board. On the backswing. Okay, they went for it. Cast with Fuse. Wear, tear. Thank you, Faithless Looting. Oh my goodness. Knight of the Ebon Legion attacks for exactly 8 this turn. Deciding early on that I was going to get aggressive has paid off here. If I Thoughtseize on turn 1, I don't win this game. Wow. Okay. Knights might be busted. On to the next round.
Your path to the Pro Tour starts here. Don't miss Magic Spotlight Foundations, January 3rd through 5th, 2025 at SCGCon Atlanta. Kick off the new year with Magic's most exciting new event. Compete in the brand new Foundation Standard format with $50,000 in prizes, 8 Pro Tour Aether Drift invites, and it's the only place to get the exclusive, borderless Terror of the Peaks promo card with art by the beloved Richard Kane Ferguson. All main event participants will get the exclusive Terror of the Peaks, but the top 128 will also earn a foil version of this breathtaking promo. Your path to the Pro Tour starts here, but only if you're part of the action. Come join me for Magic Spotlight Foundations at SCGCon Atlanta, January 3rd through 5th. Your sign-up link is in the video description.
On the play in round 2, a pretty slow hand, but I am going to keep it. Faithless Looting's in here. These fetch lands both represent Surveils. I do have 1-drop, 2-drop, plus Surveil. I'm in. Cavern on Knight. Honest Gaming. It might be right to sandbag that Cavern, because I do have non-creature spells that I would care about if I draw, and if they're a counterspell deck, they can't counter this on turn 0 anyway. I'm going to attack. I can't buff this, but if they're worried about their mana dork, they still might not touch tips with me. Like Orcish Bowmaster is a card in my colors they have to think about. Yeah, we got the 1 damage through. Scoreboard. Moral victory, no matter what happens from here. So they're probably Yogg or Broodscale, based on this open. Verdant Catacombs. Overgrown Tomb. Orcish Bowmaster. Disappointing. I will sack this to fizzle the Orc army. Got that going for me. Definitely Yogg. And the beatdown strat looking pretty bad here. This is certainly a matchup where I would prefer to be doing Haakon stuff. Alright, I am going to keep Thoughtseize. And at the end of your turn, if a player lost 4 or more life, I can lose 4 life this turn to make this thing bigger. Thoughtseize you, Soul Cauldron, Zenith. Yuck. Can I ever beat Soul Cauldron? That's kind of a hard counter to my deck. I don't like them having Zenith either, but I am going to take the Soul Cauldron. And this is already a 1-2. It's big enough. I don't need to shock in a land to make Knight bigger. Really hate leaving that Zenith there, but I am more worried about the Cauldron, kind of by a lot. Innkeeper. Dryad Arbor. I did consider Orcish Bowmaster for my deck, but it's just a generically strong card that's completely off theme, and I wanted to avoid that. Oh, okay. Well, fine. I'll freaking do it. I was worried about the Zenith last turn. I'm still worried about it now. Their hand is Blooming Marsh, and I am going to shock in Godless Shrine, which will grow the knight and leave up mana to pump it, as if that matters. But right now, there's just a bunch of mopey creatures to play. Oh no, they drew Yogg. Just ripped Yogg off the top. All right, fine. We don't have to keep playing. I tried. Okay. Raven Charm, Ghost Vacuum. There's not a lot of Yogg hate here. I was kind of hoping I'd be the deck with the most creatures and flooding the board with dinguses while lightly disrupting what somebody's doing would be good enough. Doesn't seem like that's necessarily going to be the case. Wear Terror can kill a Soul Cauldron. Stony Silence playing Soul Cauldron too, and maybe in a way that is better. Do they have any enchantments? Do they have any other artifacts they're going to play? I honestly don't even know. Stony Silence turns off my own Ghost Vacuum, though. I'm kind of not interested in that. Okay, all my removal's good. White Orchid Phantom is mid, even though flying is really important here. I'm still off it. I have Olivia for that, who I'm not going to board out. Sorry, Knight Exemplar. You'll have your moment. It's just not right now. Oh, the mono black hand with Boros mana. Got a mulligan. Okay, the one lander with a bunch of good cards in it. I will keep this one. And bottom, I think it's one of the bodyguards. I could fetch for Raucous Theater, get an extra look before I loot, but I am holding Haakon, who is the thing that I would be wanting to loot away. I am going to use the fetch for the one extra card worth of peeking. Curving out here is just going to be really important. I need lands to make this hand work. Raucous Theater. Fatal Push. God, I wish I could keep that. Thoughtseize. Interesting. All right. I'm going to loot and hope I hit a black source. Yeah. All right. Discard Haakon and Bodyguard. Bodyguard's not that good on its own. Fetch Godless Shrine. Thoughtseize you. Hope to strip an Agatha Soul Cauldron before it can take my Haakon. Fetching in response. All right. That's not Veil of Summer. Trips Soul Cauldron. All right, Haakon, you're not going to play this game. I guess I'm going to take Grist. All right, well, we were never getting out of that. Maybe they'll mess up and exile my Faithless Looting. They drew Forest for turn. Took Haakon immediately. No hesitation. No surprises. Fatal Push. All right, Cavern on Knight. And I will play Ghost Vacuum and pass. I'm not just going to flashback Faithless Looting into a Soul Cauldron. I did what I could there. I found the Thoughtseize and everything. Prosperous Innkeeper. I'm going to respond by sucking up Grist. Okay. They exiled Grist in response. They have to put a +1 counter on something before any of that matters. Oh, good. We drew a card that comes automatically with a +1 counter on it. I hate my life. Oh, but the Innkeeper's life gain trigger will actually deny them a Grist activation because I can push the Orc army. That feels bad, but at the same time, necessary. I can't let them start Gristing with Cord in their hand. Ooh, Werefox Bodyguard. Okay, how do I want to do this? If they untap, they will be able to Cord for 2. Right now, they can't Cord at all. I could murder the Bowmaster. That would make it dead. Werefox Bodyguard, a little worse than that. I don't think they're going to attack. Okay, I'm going to murder the Orcish Bowmaster. Or is that even the card I care about? I think I'm more worried about Innkeeper. Okay, Swift End the Innkeeper. And then I'm going to just not do anything. I'm going to leave my Ghost Vacuum up. If I don't act first, they can't use their Soul Cauldron. They can Cord for 2 anyway. Would have been a Cord for 3, though, which is a much scarier number. Well, here we go. In what ways am I dead? Tell me about it. This is it, though. Their hand is 2 redundant legendary permanents after this. If I can stabilize versus whatever this shit is. God damn it. All right. Yep. Another Bowmaster makes a ton of sense. This lets them Grist once. Dumped a Yawgmoth. Okay. Well, we will be playing chicken around that for the entire game. Aimless Inversion. Okay. That lets me hold on to the Bodyguard. But the Bodyguard's actually a creature, which stabilizes the board. Yeah, I think I messed up. I got like aggressive thinking that they wouldn't be able to utilize the Grist if I went first on the previous turn, but that's just not actually true. All right, I'm going to Bodyguard this Orc army away, and it's a token, so it's gone. There are enough creatures in the graveyard that they can just overload my Ghost Vacuum right now. Like if they just target Dauntless Bodyguard or Prosperous Innkeeper, I have to exile Yogg in response, but then that gives them multiple Grist activations out of their multiple creatures. And because they have multiple Soul Cauldrons in their hand, I can't even just wait. Milden Endurance, keeping the creatures hefty. Exiling Innkeeper. Now they can Grist again. I will definitely trade with anything that attacks here. Yeah, I'll block this. That's a creature with a +1 counter on it. That's a Grist. That's a whatever. Let's get rid of it. And Nameless Inversion on this Bowmaster gets me back to 0 counters in play. I think I gotta do this. Okay, I'm still being attacked for 3, but we're back on Ghost Vacuum canceling out Soul Cauldron. I think that attack was really aggressive and poor. Losing one of your Grists. They're still like ahead, but I don't think I could have possibly won a game where they're Gristing multiple times in a turn. Okay, I'll deploy my 2/3 lifelink and hope that the 2 Soul Cauldrons in their hand actually do gum up the works and they don't just Court of Calling me out of the game here. Okay, we're back in the spot where they can get one creature to be a Grist by seesawing in my end step. They're spending mana. This is hardly fair. Scavenging Ooze. Okay. That comes with its own +1 counters, if they want. They just ate Faithless Looting instead of a creature, though. Delighted Halfling. Insect plus hit Culling Ritual. Oh, they're just passing the turn. They don't seem to realize they could have just activated Scavenging Ooze and started Gristing. Olivia mobilized for war. Let's go. Okay, here's this card. It's not going to help, but here it is. And maybe it'll help. Having an Inti with haste. One at 17 life. Yeah, we've got a chance here. Exiling some spells from my graveyard at the end of turn. Yeah, they definitely don't seem either aware or interested in exiling one of their several creatures in the graveyard to get Ooze going. Wall of Roots. Milled Malevolent Rumble. Okay, now they're finally cashing in. Okay. They have become aware. There is one creature left in all graveyards right now. My turn is likely to change that, though. And Scavenging Ooze is just the baddest cat on the block right now. I'm at 4. Do I use this Ghost Vacuum right now? I don't think so. I don't think I can ever afford to use it. They have me beat in so many horrifying ways. Okay, Inti will trigger twice this turn. Okay. Red and Knight. Inti. I'm going to discard the second Inti. That puts a creature in the graveyard, which worries me a little bit. But I'm more worried about flipping a good spell here and not being able to play it. All right, Ooze ate that right away. Okay. I'm going to attack with Murderous Rider. The lifelink here matters, and I'll discard Sacred Foundry. Flipped another land. We're cooked. We were already cooked, but we're definitely cooked. A touch butts with Wall of Roots. Marsh Flats gives me another turn of selection. And they're just eating the rest of my graveyard in the end step. This Grist can minus now. It's up to enough loyalty to do that, which was the last thing remotely keeping me in the game, was just having better creatures than them, even though they have way more going on. Shifting Woodland. Whoa. Okay, they're still plussing. Good, 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 good. Hitting creatures is bad, 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 but still, at least the Grist didn't minus. So this is 4, potentially 5, 6. Can't afford to block. If they do go all the way in here, I can't use this fetch land. Still can't afford to block, though. Okay, they stopped at 4. Good, good, good. Getting some good moments here. I think on like the micro level of this game, I'm getting a lot of extra chances, even though at the macro level, I'm getting smoked. Bloodstained Mire into the garbage pile. Yeah, they're just eating my graveyard. If you think Delirium or Threshold or any such thing matter, then that's fine. Or Delve, I guess. Murderous Cut Your Scavenging Ooze. I don't do any of those things, but they don't know that. Wow. Okay, that's one of the better cards I could have. Is Murderous Rider better on offense or defense here? I could just attack with Olivia. I'm going to not attack. I don't think I'm winning a game where I don't attack. I also don't think I'm winning a game where I do attack. Kind of a tough squeeze. All they have to do is realize that Grist works here. I'll Ghost Vacuum, suck that up. Ooze can eat it in response, that's fine. I'm trying to get them to commit to this Ooze in some sort of large way. I'm at 2 life. I might just be dead if they turn all their creatures sideways. I haven't even done the math. I go to 5, block. We drew Yogg. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, that game came down to me thinking I could get them off the Grist, but having Grist just generically under the Soul Cauldron was so much more important than having a +1 counter on the creature that was in front of me at the time. Yeah, I botched that second turn, or third turn, whatever turn that was, really hard. On to the next game.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the play in round 3, I actually like this hand. I am going to probably just Faithless Looting on turn 1. Or I could do the thing I did last game where I fetched the Raucous Theater. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I still think that's right. I thought it was right last game. I think it's right now. Just finding that third land is going to be really important. And I can Faithless Looting Unearth all on turn 2 if I find the second land. A Scalding Tarn. Raucous Theater. Dauntless Bodyguard could go into the graveyard. Opponent already realizes whatever they were worried about is not the case. Faithless Looting. Please hit, please hit, please hit. Oh my god. Come on, deck. Okay, discard Olivia and one of the... Or, I don't think this White Orchid Phantom is going to be castable for a long time, or good in the matchup. Okay, well, that was pretty unlucky. That was 4 looks at a 22 outer in 50 cards. Obviously, Magic contains variance. Sometimes that's going to happen, but I don't think the play was wrong, which is what's important. If you make a play that is fine and doesn't work out versus making a play that is fundamentally flawed, those are the important things. Steel and Oil. Which of my creature cards would you like to take? Is this where the format is? That Dreams of Steel and Oil is a card that we play instead of Thoughtseize? Or do we play more than 4 Thoughtseizes in our Dimir decks? That's really interesting. This hits the graveyard too. So I just lost Olivia and Werefox. I drew another Olivia, perfect. Okay, well, I guess I'll play Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yeah, this was a tough open. I think it's probably pretty safely already over. We got to play it out. The old turn 3 Oculus right on time. If I draw a fetch land, I could kill this thing. Interesting. Not good, but interesting. I can attack with Knight of Ebon Legion. All right, I'm going to play Cavern on Knight, and I'm going to play Inti. And I guess I just pass. I lost my chance to kill the Oculus, but they also could have just taken 1 damage and not given me the chance. I'm taking the full beats here. They're playing the deck I would actually play if I had a real Modern tournament coming up. I love me a Frogtide. Manifest Dread again. Knight Exemplar. Okay. Okay, I'm going to play Inti. This time I have a land drop to give. Attack. Discard. Olivia. If I unearth something this turn, would I prefer it to be Knight Exemplar or Olivia? Olivia flies, but that barely matters. Alright, I'll make my Knights indestructible. Even though I'm pretty close to dead. Fatal Push, alright. Missed on everything. That game brought to you by the Cold Hand of Variance on the opening sequence. Alright, graveyards and creatures matter here. Mostly not specifically sideboarding for this matchup. I have the Caverns in the main. I'm playing my removal already. White Orchid Phantom, pretty bad. Thraben Charm, fine. Ghost Vacuum. And I think that's all I got here. I'll keep this. This one at least does stuff. Yeah, Dreams of Steel and Oil was sick. Getting the cutting off my Reanimator and taking the best card in my hand. Makes a lot of sense when it lines up like that. Okay, I will take 1,000,000 to Thoughtseize you. Scour, push, unearth. Well, I don't want to play against Fatal Push. And if they scour away an Oculus, I'm dead. But my plan is to play Inti and then do stuff. A plan that necessitates them not having Fatal Push in hand. I'm going to fetch my basic swamp here and just save a little bit of damage. I have enough fetch lands that I'm not worried about colors. Just show me the spell snare off the top. Just get me with it. Okay. We got away with that one. Dodged. They milled Murktide Regent. That's the wrong creature. They have another shot here with the Scour if they want to take it. Psychic Frog. I remember that one from formats that I play. Okay, I'm going to attack and discard Bloodstain Mire. They would have to discard 2 cards to beat Inti here. They're not interested in doing that for good reason. I still have to push the frog because it is going to kill me. They can unearth it, or discard an Oculus that's in their hand and unearth that, and then I'm out of plays, basically. Thought Scour. Milled a bunch of stuff that's not Oculus. Frog's back with 4 cards in hand. Definitely enough to beat Inti in combat, unless I find some help here. I'm going to fetch the white Surveil Land. Knight of the Ebon Legion. That's not really what I'm looking for here. Faithless Looting would be sick because that triggers Inti an additional time. Cavern of Souls. My life is pain. Okay, I'm still going to attack. They didn't like the block last turn. Nothing's really changed. Except it's a higher commitment now to play into it. You've got a fetch land. Oh, do you have Fatal Push? Okay. Well, we're going to get smoked by Psychic Frog. And at this point, if I had anything, I would have played it. They know as soon as this frog hits that I don't have a removal spell. Inti is my Psychic Frog, and they had more than I did. Alright, Dreams of Steel and Oil is going to miss. They can exile something from the graveyard. But as long as they don't draw Unearth, it's fine. Inti, my king, return to me. Alright, Knight. Inti's back. Consider in response. I hope they find Spell Snare and jam it. Milled and Unearth. Not interested in that. They know everything that's going on at this point. Can't block. Harbinger of the Seas. Okay. No red mana for me, but I do have my basics. No, my red. I needed that. Okay, attack. Discard Arid Mesa. Faithless Looting, right on time. Okay, I can't win this game anymore. I didn't play a basic Mountain in the deck because this already plays around Blood Moon, but Harbinger of the Seas is not Blood Moon. That was a beating. On to the next one.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that curves out and does stuff. I'm in. I hope we're in a matchup where White Orchid Phantom's good, because that's very important to me right now. Make a Godless Shrine. There are no gods here. Counterspell, Abhorrent Oculus. Fatal Push. I guess I'll take the Fatal Push. That's the one that is threatening to do anything. Look at all these modern players with their normal decks just playing high rate cards with good interaction. Nerds. Okay, White Orchid Phantom. I'm going to play it. Killing their lands doesn't matter anyway. But I'm going to have a 2/2 first strike and play. Scoreboard. It's funny because I guess fetching matters a lot. Never mind. I was about to say fetching is the same as not fetching, except you lose a life, but getting Undercity Sewer here is high value compared to not doing that. Okay, moment of truth. Did they find an untapped land for this counterspell, or am I gonna run roughshod over them with an indestructible army of knights? Oh, yeah. Well, they missed the land. Wait, did they Thoughtseize themselves? They did. Oh, okay. They're setting up an unearth. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Born Oculus is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what's going on over there. Okay, they took a demonic route. The Jedi don't teach you that strategy, but it is going to work unless I flip a Thoughtseize right now off Inti. Okay, Godless Shrine. Or no, has to be a red land. Chill. All right, Blood Crypt. Yeah, Blood Crypt. Blood Crypt, Inti, dump Marsh Flats, spike Thoughtseize off the top, discard Marsh Flats, Thoughtseize. Oh no, Olivia. Okay. No love there. I guess I'm just going to be mashing my indestructible creatures into their Born Oculus for the rest of the game. They draw Springs. They're still committed to the line, though. I think at this point you're locked. Yeah. Better put that in. A Fatal Push is a good draw. Fatal Push is easily the best draw, I would say. Not just a good draw. Faithless Looting. That is bonus Inti action. If you're into that. I think I am. Faithless Looting. Discard Godless Shrine and Dauntless Bodyguard. Trigger. Okay. That's good adjacent. It is card advantage, even if it's not actually good. Okay, Sacred Foundry, or no, I want the Swamp. I think I want to save damage here. Yeah, okay. Knight Exemplar. Get in there. This Knight is so exemplary. And this actually would kill a Born Oculus if they tangled, so I'm going in. Discard. Flip to land. I'm not going to miss that. Okay. Game on. Them finding the land for the Psychic Frog in their hand, though, is probably lights out, though. They can just make enough. Discard the rest of their hand. This Murktide's also really big. I go to 6 here. Water Grave tapped. If they shove Murktide, I don't think I can win. Though I guess I do have an indestructible flyer. Maybe I can have another one before the turn is over. Raucous Theater. I'm going to attack with Inti and discard that Raucous Theater. Dauntless Bodyguard. Okay. Doctor Irrelevant, I presume. A Dauntless Bodyguard. Choose Knight Exemplar. Try to keep this board under control, whatever that means. And I could Faithless Looting here, which could mill over Haakon and flip a land. Or I could try to looting next turn where it's higher impact. I guess I'm probably supposed to loot before I play this Bodyguard. I am going to play the looting, though. There's enough upside here that it matters. Olivia, land, discarded. That's not Haakon. Exiled Haakon. All the right cards were there. They were just in the wrong order. We almost did it. I'm going to go to 1 and then die. I guess that's the plan. If they have Otawara, I don't even get that far. But they can't have Otawara because they don't have enough mana or cards in hand to do. They can't go land Otawara, and they don't have a legend. If one of these was Oculus, I would be dead. If they just drew Fatal Push, I'm dead. There's Frog. I think they should just attack with everything. Or, no, that doesn't make sense. No, this is the right attack. Okay. I'll block the one that kills me outright. And then try again to spike. Knight Exemplar is having its moment. I promised it would. Where Fox Bodyguard? You don't say. This does not win me the game. It could stabilize the game, though. 1, 2, 3. No, Psychic Frog fucking flies! Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, Psychic Frog is going to be the one that gets it over here. I can't afford to discard Where Fox Bodyguard. And they're holding 2 counterspells, so whatever I do, I have to do it now. Sucks I flipped that Haakon in the wrong direction. Just another flyer on this board would be great. I don't have a way to get 2 flyers or to untap this one. And they're at 9. They don't even have to block. All right. Yep. Okay. Bummer. Born Oculus. What a unit. The flying was pretty good, though. Maybe I just play this as a creature with flying. But that is what I boarded out when I brought in these cards last time. Maybe that just doesn't work. And I have to plan for use my removal well and try to get something going. I haven't had Haakon running since round 1, and round 1 is the round that I won. So There's a correlation here. Okay. Another one-lander with Faithless Looting, but I think we keep these. I still think we keep these. I think I want to Thoughtseize them first, which means I have to get Blood Crypt. Or I could do get Knight in. All right, never mind. Remember that earlier game where I had the decision between Knight or Thoughtseize on turn 1? Let's get damage going, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to interact. We also saw Cling to Dust in their main deck, a card that is, dare I say, complete bullshit. Cavern of Souls, what's up? Cavern on Knight, Inti. This is pretty cool. I don't really want to discard a card here, though. But I do have a second Inti. If they Fatal Push the first one, I won't have to think about it. Yeah, I'm actually going to decline, which means I probably should have attacked first. But drawing the Cavern of Souls took a lot of pressure off both the Thoughtseize and the Faithless Looting. Consider. Get the card. If they Thoughtseize me, Inti does trigger, and I get access to the card until my next end step. Just a little insulation there. Did you know Inti was a hate bear? Hates discard, but also loves discard. Classic red player, red creature mentality. Doesn't know what it wants, just busy yelling and holding things in the air. Multiple Thoughtseizes. I think I'm going to attack first. What could they do? Orcish Bowmaster? If they shoot my Sheriff before combat, that's also fine. It taps them out. My Sheriff! Now do I loot? Do I play the second Inti? I think I'm just going to re-Inti. If they would spend a whole turn dealing with that. They can't cast Oculus from their hand, and they don't have anything to unearth in the graveyard. They could Thoughtseize unearth themselves. We've seen that in their range. This could blind hit Oculus, and then we're on Mega Tilt forever. It hit Psychic Frog, and they didn't reanimate it. All good things. I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to attack, and I'm going to discard Faithless Looting, actually. I have the land now. Target the other vampire. Ooh, other vampire number 2. They Thoughtseize my opponent. They counter this Thoughtseize, I'll just cast another one. And both of my knights are going to trigger this turn because I'm going to have to Fetch Shock. Okay, that's gone. Fetch Shock. Godless Shrine. Thoughtseize. Oculus. A bunch of cantrips. Definitely taking Oculus. And I could play this knight, and a player has taken more than 4 damage this turn. It was me. Okay. Handful of air over there. I got the damage rolling. I have a removal spell. If they find Murktide Regent, that could be troublesome, but I do also have the knights that can pump and gain Death Touch. Murktide might not even save them here. Scoured into another Oculus. They have to have found an Unearth off of these random draws. Scour number 3. They're all gone. Totally fresh hand from the last time I saw it 1 priority pass ago. Half a turn cycle ago, I saw 4 cards, and now they're all different, but we won. Get out of here. Yeah, I didn't see anything that's going to change my plan. These are just the cards I have for the matchup. I hope I draw them in the correct order. I'm going to keep this hand on the draw of high interaction, which is the opposite of just shoving creatures, which is what I've had to do for the last 2 games. Okay, they shocked in Watery Grave and then didn't do anything with it. I'm going to choose to read this as Consider, which means Ghost Vacuum's great. Oh my goodness, who could have known? Kept the card on top. They've got a Psychic Frog. This is a powerful card that Nameless Inversion is quite poor against. This is why Nameless Inversion doesn't see play, even though it's very cool. Okay, I could play Dauntless Bodyguard and a Surveil land. I could Nameless Inversion the Frog, make them commit 2 cards to it, but I think they're pretty happy to do that. They have to commit a card to Frog on the Bodyguard, but Nameless Inversion, they can commit the cards at any point, just jumping for a turn doesn't matter. I think I'm going to play Marsh Flats, leave up my options of things I could fetch for, and pass the turn. My whole strategy blunted by 1 frog. Who would win? Carefully selected cards to execute a strategy that is fun, or 1 Modern Horizons 3 card. And Nameless Inversion is +3, -3, not -3, -3. So there's not even like a play this as Fog, make them commit a bunch of cards to draw 1 card. It's literally, I would just take 3 extra damage. I'm going to get Raucous Theater. Got to try to make something happen here. Bodyguard is something that can happen. It is certainly going to get counterspelled. Godless Shrine, zap it in, play Bodyguard. Dauntless Bodyguard, not Werefox Bodyguard. Here I can trade this for a random card just by chump blocking. And they have to discard to save their frog. They could also just Fatal Push this, or if they have Orcish Bowmaster, it's never been freer. Cling to Dust. Alright, this draws a card. I could stuff this, or I could let them have it. Alright, fine. Have your card. They could just shove Murktide Regent right here, but with Psychic Frog, Ghost Vacuum doesn't break that up anyway. What a hopeless card to play against when you're not playing. I mean, obviously Modern has... I'm deeply and horrendously off meta here. We are doing something that is below Modern power level, like quite obviously. So saying like, oh my god, Psychic Frog ruin Modern isn't fair, because there's like 15 things that you could reasonably do that would keep up with this, but definitely try to play normal Magic versus somebody with playing Modern Horizons cards. Forget about it. Okay. Block. This will require a card commitment. Discarded Sink into Stupor. Okay. That's happened. This now has 2 damage on it. And they can deploy this Oculus that I could not have broken up if I tried. Nameless Inversion in response. How bad do you want this Psychic Frog? They don't want it at all, is the answer. Okay. Ghost Vacuum, exile, Cling to Dust, and Werefox Bodyguard. It's your job. You got to win this game. I really wish this was Murderous Rider, though. I don't trust Werefox Bodyguard to survive forever unless I draw the other Dauntless Bodyguard, which I did not do. Thoughtseize. I think it's too late for that card to possibly be good. It's not a fox, it's an eye. Certainly my Demir opponent who milled away a Fatal Push a moment ago doesn't have a removal spell in their hand. Attacking with the Manifest. This could be anything. Even an Abhorrent Oculus. Elf Fox Knight. Not a sheriff. Or is a sheriff. Petty Theft. Okay. This is plenty good enough. It does the job it needs to do. And they still have Counterspell open. Okay, I guess I flash in Werefox on their upkeep. And then concede when they cast a spell. Yep, too good. Alright. GG. That matchup feels really bad. It sucks we played against it twice. Hopefully we get something else in the final round. I'm on the play in the final round. After not showing up for 3 entire rounds, I have triple Haakon in my opening hand. What an insult. Gonna mulligan. Okay, this hand actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna bottom Olivia. Yeah, building your whole deck around a 4 of that doesn't show up for 3 rounds consecutively. I think the only time I've even looked at a Haakon in 3 rounds was when Inti flipped it, when I didn't have mana to do anything with it. Well, I guess I literally can't do anything with a flipped Haakon off of Inti. It cannot be cast from exile. And you can't discard things from exile, traditionally. Raucous Theater. Knight of the Ebon Legion. I'm going to graveyard that. I'm looking for lands. Or I could Motobug into a second Knight. That's even better. Godless Shrine. Inti. Let's do it. Get to work. Misty Rainforest for Temple Garden. This could be Cascade. Viseju. That's also a card played in those decks. If they cast a spell here, we'll find out. Alright, it's definitely not Cascade. Okay. I could Faithless Looting, or I could play Knight of the Ebon Legion. I'm going to play Knight. Faithless Looting, the problem is that it's just so bad. It is such a bad card if you're not getting value off it. And without looking at a Haakon or an Unearth right now, or extra lands that are flooded out or anything, I just don't even want to cast this card. Or some sort of Abzan. Werefox Bodyguard. Okay, I've drawn all my removal this game. Let's see if this Knight of the Ebon Legion could deal 17 damage. Leyline Binding. Okay, this is what we're doing. Tough crowd. Still not going to play Faithless Looting. Werefox Bodyguard could snipe something like Omnath or a Rhino. Delighted Halfling. That's as good a target for Nameless Inversion as anything. Does it have a name? Sure doesn't. And now I have a Faithless Looting, or now I have a land that I'm a little more willing to fetch away. But I still think I would rather just main phase my other Surveil land and try to high roll the Haakon into the graveyard where I cast it immediately. White Orchid Phantom. Knight of the White Orchid Phantom. Haven't seen a basic land yet. I see Leyline Binding. The card might be good. They missed a land drop last turn. They found one here. Was it Omnath all along? Green, green. They can't cast Omnath with this mana. Brennan 6, that card's good. It will be dead, but it's good. It will destroy target Planeswalker with my Swift End. White Orchid Phantom. I'm going to go after this Sacred Foundry. Red or black? What do I think is more important here? Probably red. Brennan 6 is an actual card we've seen. Black might just be for domain. I don't even know. Passing the turn. Basic Plains. Fetch for Stomping Ground. Another Brennan 6. Cool. And this is more fair, though. I don't even know what they're doing yet. Olivia mobilized for war. She doesn't have haste. She gives other things haste. I'm going to put some damage on Ren. Maybe I'm supposed to just ignore this, though. Okay, good. They're killing my creature either way. Oh, no, they're not. Whose graveyard do you want? Mine? That's hardly fair. What sound does an elf fox knight make? Yeah, literally, what does the fox say? Remember that? Old people, remember the internet in the early days? Okay. Maybe I'm supposed to just go face and try to deal the last 11 points before Ren goes nuts. But I think I do have reasonable chance to clear the Ren, if that's even important. Ooh, Fatal Push. Oh, that's a little awkward. Alright, please don't have another Endurance. Attack Ren at 6. 5 mana. Solitude's a beating. Okay, yep, Solitude. 2 for 1s. What are those? Would I rather have this rat in my graveyard or more permanents in play? Okay. The rat can go to my go to exile. I guess I gained 2 life either way. And it wouldn't have been in the graveyard. I'm glad I didn't make that play. That would have been nonsense. I can push Endurance, get some damage on Ren, and then Olivia. She's in there. Lush Portico. Okay, so not blue. They are some sort of every color but blue mess pile. They didn't attack with Solitude. Interesting. I was definitely not going to block. Oh. What if my creatures could not be destructed? I don't think they plan to destruct them. I'm going to play the Murderous Rider. It gets +1/+1 and haste. If I discard a card, I'll discard the Faithless Looting. I've been refusing to play the entire game. And I'm actually just going to ram their face. This is all flying damage. You got to figure it out somehow. It seems they do have a spell. Solitude versus my fair creature deck. Once again, not out of bounds for the total power level of Modern, but trying to play a deck with normal Magic cards in it versus a deck with Modern Horizons cards in it is a joke. Oh, they do want to trade. Oh, this isn't even a trade, just a chump. This is a 3/4. Interesting. They could have double blocked and taken out my knight completely and gained more life while they did it. Okay, that was just... They either forgot I had a +1 counter on it or just didn't do combat math. Oh, suddenly blue mana revealed. Omnath revealed. It's crazy time. And they've got fetch lands forever with Ren, which means they have life forever and mana forever. What they're doing right now is telling me they didn't need the 3 extra life or to kill my creature for free last turn. They're just going to beat me anyway. It's very time raveler. I don't see my White Orchid Phantom. Okay. Alright, I'm dead. To the sideboard. What do I do here? Wear and Tear and Thraben Charm all interact with the ley lines. Ghost Vacuum could check Ren and 6 and try to mana screw them as part of a plan. White Orchid Phantom did not help. 0 for 5 on this one. There are good matchups for White Orchid Phantom, and it's one of the most impressive knights on its own, legal in Modern right now, but we just 0 for 5 on matchups where you would actually want it. Fatal Push, not great here. It kills Omnath and Endurance. Does not kill Solitude. Maybe Werefox Bodyguard is worse. They have so much removal, they're going to get their creature back eventually. Nameless Inversion kills Solitude. Okay. This is my plan. Let's go for it. Gotta curve out and disrupt them and deal 20 before they get set up. I will keep, and I will just fire this Faithless Looting. Gonna go for a high roll here. Gonna get Sacred Foundry, because they have the basic swamp already. A Fatal Push, and do I just discard the swamp now? Or Night Exemplar? I think it's Fatal Push, Night Exemplar. Because their damage is exile based. That's just mostly a gray ogre. I think getting a surprise exchange off Wear Tear is my most likely way to succeed this game, as I just discarded Fatal Push. Okay, cool. I'll play Inti and hope they don't play Teferi this turn. It'll be hard to come back from. But I have a bunch of creatures. Maybe not. They just play Teferi, bounce. I play 2 creatures next turn and apply pressure. If they go Teferi into Omnath, it's over. And maybe that's not even true, though. Is my hand just, like, good at fundamental magic? They bounce Inti. I play Inti Knight. They play Omnath. I kill Omnath. I attack Teferi. Okay, just went for a Leyline Binding. This is what I was looking for with the Wear Tear exchange. Ooh, the re-Inti. Okay, well, now I'm not going to do that. Godless Shrine gets all my necessary double colors covered. Ebon Legion, Inti, Knight's coming for you. This is a legendary spell, probably Wrenn and 6. Yes, indeed. If they have another binding, they can deploy it here. They do not. Or at least they're not doing it yet. Okay, both creatures attack Wrenn and 6. And I'm going to discard the 3rd Inti and target the Knight. Diversify my action. Haakon in exile, son of a biscuit. What a disgraceful, insulting thing that is. Okay. Maybe Inti isn't a combo with Haakon. I mean, obviously, when you flip Haakon, like when you discard it versus when you flip it, I think at this point in the league, which is the end of the league, so it's a pretty deep point in the league. At this point in the league, I have officially flipped Haakon off of Inti more times than I have discarded it to any of the discard outlets. Okay, I'm going to murder this Omnath on arrival. It will meet a swift end in response to its draw trigger. I'm still not exactly thriving, but I am attacking and doing stuff. I don't need Caverner Souls here. I can discard that. I flipped a Knight Exemplar. Okay. Cannot be destructed. I hope their hand is Supreme Verdict and no other action. A card that we have not seen and would not make sense in their deck. I hope that's what they have. Certainly not the Solitude, Prismatic Ending, Leyline Binding, any of those things that we know that they play. All right, let's keep it going. Just keep swimming. Discard Godless Shrine. I'm going to put a counter on Inti. Inti is the one I can replace easily. If they're going to Solitude, now's the time to do it. Flipped Faithless Looting. That can trigger Inti again this turn, if there is still an Inti when that happens. Yeah, Solitude can exile one, block another in a variety of ways. Okay. Exiling the biggest one, which means they're going to trade with Knight Exemplar and take 1 here. Maybe Knight shouldn't have attacked. I'd buy that. Oh wait, at his first strike, get wrecked! We all forgot. Nobody knew. It was a top secret thing. Alright, yeah, that creature has first strike. Didn't you know that, you silly goose? It's a knight, it's on a horse, it's holding a lance. Look at the armor this horse has on. How could it not have first strike? Okay, well, that worked out well. I'm going to faithlessly loot. Adding Murderous Rider to the board might be correct, but that also might still happen. Okay, discard looting, and I think Wear Tear's Dazer have come and gone. If I flip a land here, I'm going to wish I held the Wear Tear, but you can't predict that stuff. Oh, I ended up with Wear Tear. Well, I'm just going to play another knight that attacks for damage. Okay. I have lots of damage on the board. I have 2 indestructible units. I am seeing extra cards. My creature has first strike, and we all knew that the whole time. Zenith for 4, so this is going to be an Omnath. This is a way to start digging out. I can overpower in Omnath. Like, my creatures are better than 4/4 as long as I don't attack with the Exemplar. Fetch to Forest, go to 9. Play a land from hand. Get a bunch of mana. Teferi. That doesn't do a lot here. That was a good play with it. No, it does do a lot. Okay. I'm going to keep the bigger Inti, and then they replay the... Yeah, okay. Having a legend under that actually did do a lot. Good play. With only 3 land types, Omnath has it covered. Now I need to actually draw a good card. Does that qualify? Is that a good card? I'm going to attack my opponent. They're going to block, but this is a lifelink creature, and it's indestructible. I think playing Olivia from hand is better than trying to flashback looting and see if something could happen here. All my lootings are accounted for, though. I am now also pushing damage. I have a flyer. Omnath cannot attack me. The 4 cards in their hands are blanks. They're not helpful. There's not a Solitude or a Prismatic Ending or a Leyline Binding or anything anywhere among them. Zenith for 0. This is a land for an Omnath trigger. That's interesting. There's really just not a better green card for them to get here than Dryad Arbor. There must just be a couple of Zeniths in this control deck to find the Omnath when you want it. Okay, they did have Solitude. Hardly seems fair, honestly. Damage coming in. But my creature has first strike. Unearth. Okay. I could get another Night Exemplar and just hardlock. Calling that a hardlock is really funny to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get the second Night Exemplar. All my creatures, untouchable. Is your last card in hand Endurance? Doesn't seem like it. Okay, here we go. Attack by opponent. They're spending mana, and it's white. Okay. Their last card in hand was another Solitude. Whatever, homie. Whatever. Okay. GG's. Okay, so that was a bit of a tough run. As I mentioned a couple times throughout the play, running like creatures with mild disruption, like this looks like probably a pretty reasonable Pioneer deck. But once we get into the modern cards pool where we're playing against cards like Psychic Frog and Solitude, it becomes quite clear how outclassed we are. Unfortunately, the Haakon thing only happened once, and it was in the match that I won. Other Haakon sightings throughout this league, I flipped it twice off of Inti. I mulliganed a 1-land hand that had 3 Haakons in it, and I Thoughtseized an opponent to check for Graveyard Hate, and they had 3 pieces of Graveyard Hate in their opening hand. Those were the 5 instances of Hate God. Mulligan, unplayable, unplayable. Thoughtseize was enough to protect it, and won the game. It is, of course, a bit of a non-bow when Inti can't flip Haakon for any profit. It is insane when Inti can discard Haakon for massive profit. Drawing a Haakon you can't discard is bad. Like, there's definitely risk involved in including this package in the deck, but you get to play cool cards like Faithless Looting and Inti and Olivia to do it. I would want to play 15 or 20 matches with this deck before I say this is a failure. If this just never comes together, then we're wasting a lot of slots on it. Like the 4 Haakon, 2 Nameless Inversion, 3 Faithless Looting, and Olivia all definitely leave the deck. I think Inti stays in the deck even if it's just Mardu Knights fair and square. Unearth. That's 2, 5, 6, 7, 9, 13 slots that open up if you don't want to be supporting Haakon. And you can just try curving out. Maybe you play some non-knights like Thalia, a soldier, but the type of thing that would show up here. Take a more hate bear side thing. I do not think that just playing knights like Knight of Infamy or Hand of Honor or whatever the 2-drop knights with protection or hexproof and first strike generically are will compete in Modern any better than this build did. But you will normalize your situation. You'll never spend a whole game wondering if you're supposed to cast Faithless Looting if your hand is just, or if your deck is just creatures and lightning bolts. Maybe flattening the power curve to normalize gameplay is better. I mean, that's certainly just a decision the builder can make. But I took a swing here on using the freshly unbanned Faithless Looting to enable Haakon Stromgald Scourge, a casual favorite. And it kind of worked, but mostly didn't. Desmus, I hope this was fun. I did have fun building this, and I had fun playing it, even if the win-loss record doesn't count the same. I hope you all had fun watching it. Thank you for being here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.